What's going on, guys? I'm Bill and welcome to Billshowto. Today I'll be showing you guys how to repair a sliding cavity door that's not sliding very well, and at the same time, when it does finally close, it doesn't seem to latch. So I'm going to show you guys how to repair that. Let's do this. Alright guys, so I'll show you a better view, a bit closer up. As we have a look at the door is in the closed position. So the top right is completely hard up against it. As we go down along the door, you can see the gap gets wider and wider. By the time it gets to the actual locking mechanism, you can see there as you turn it to the lock position, it completely misses the strike plate and it's also not in the right position. So if we have a look where it's actually positioned, it's sitting really low. So the door's not sitting level whatsoever. So if we have a look at the door is supposed to be up vertical like this, okay, in a perfect level position. At the moment, the door is sitting a bit on an angle. So what we need to do is adjust the actual door, and I'll show you guys how to do that now. All right, so with all cavity doors, as you can see on top here, there's a little piece of timber or trim. Okay, this is usually on one or both sides of the door. So you can see here we've got two sections. Generally, it's only supposed to be on one side. You'll find a filler panel that you're supposed to unscrew, and that'll give you access to the actual track. Now, this one here seems to have access on both sides. However, we're going to stick to the inside of the door. Okay, I've got another door that's also got the same problem. I'll show you guys on a different type of track. So as we can have a look along here, the door's not really working very well, so it's going to be a bit hard to see. But the wheels are just in here. So I'm going to show you how to remove this filler panel so that we can actually get access to it and then remove it. Okay, so like I said, this filler panel needs to be removed. Okay, I can see the screws where they are here. They've been covered by a little plate. So I just need to simply remove these off. Just pop them off just like that. These are just end caps to cover the actual screws. What you want to do next is simply unscrew it. The screwdriver will also work fine if you don't have a drill handy. Okay, so once that's removed, put them on a side, make sure we don't lose them. This should simply come out. It's actually been sealed with the paint, so we'll have to break that seal. Careful not to damage the timber. And there we have it, that's one panel. We'll see if we need to remove the actual second panel out. We'll see if we can reach it. Yep, should be able to reach it just like that. Alright guys, so that's what the track looks like once you've got a bit of access to it. You can see here it's got a nut on the top, nut on the bottom, and this allows you to adjust the height up or down. So it's got one on either side. Okay, now like I said, looking at the door, we know that the door's tilted to the right. Okay, so what we need to do is simply straighten that back up. The way we're going to do that is by adjusting the right carrier. Okay, so it's got two, one on top, one on the bottom, one on the left, one on the right. The one on the right is the one that we're going to adjust. By adjusting the height of that, we're going to be able to shift the door back into the straight position. Okay, so if your door's leaning to the right like mine is, we want to adjust the right carrier to bring it back up into level. Okay, if it was the left side, so if the bottom side, bottom right hand side was the one that was touching and the door was leaning to the left, then we'd simply pull up onto the left hand side of the carrier, okay, and we'd adjust that one. So let's get that done and I'll show you guys how to adjust it. Alright guys, so all you need is just a little spanner to get this out. Now if we have a look here, okay, it's got one nut on the top. We need to loosen this one here up so that we allow a bit of leverage. Okay, so if I wanted to try and lift this up, you see how that's pushing up against the door. Now there's another little nut on the bottom here which is for the bolt itself. We need to tighten this to the right in order to get our correct height. So all we need to do is continuously turning this to the right until we get it nice and level. You can see there the top nut continuously creeps up. So as that happens, we'll just bring it back down until we get it to the right adjustment. Okay, so to the right is bringing the door up, to the left will bring the door down. So keep working at that until you see it's nice and level. Every so often you can attempt to open, you see that's rolling a lot better already. Okay, but what we need to make sure is that the door actually, oh, there we go, it's almost getting hard up against it. It's still a little bit more adjusting to do. But as that comes over, you want to be able to click it over and have it to lock. So at the moment, that's sitting a little bit too high. So we'll bring this one here down a bit. So back to the left to bring it down, as we said. All right, guys, so once you bring that to your perfect height, okay, you want to test it out. Make sure it rolls back and forward perfectly, nice and smooth, just like that. Okay, next thing you want to check is the latch, and that's working perfectly. That's nice and aligned now. It's catching on there as it should. And there you have it. And now the gap is a lot better than what it was before. All right, guys, so now that we've got this completely aligned, this top nut here, we need to tighten it up to make sure that this doesn't lose its adjustment again. Okay, so bringing it back down, hard up against it, okay, and simply tighten that up by pulling it to the left. So that's nice and tight now. That adjustment is perfect. So we want to make sure the left one is also tight so that we don't have any loss of adjustment. That's perfect now. All you need to do is simply put back your filler panel, okay, putting it back the way it was. So slotting that back in place, okay, get your screws ready. So just lightly tighten them on. Get my drill ready to go. Line that up exactly the way it was. There we go. And simply tighten that back in. Same thing on the left. That's why drill makes it a million times easier. Okay, once that's done, all we need to do is put on these little caps and we're good to go. There we have it. Perfect. Right, guys, so I've got another door here, the same thing, sliding cavity door. It's got a very similar problem. If we have a look along the side, you can see that's in the closed position. Okay, it's got a huge gap on this side. As we run down, the gap thins out, okay, almost to nothing, hard up against it on the bottom. This door's water damaged, so it does need to be replaced regardless. However, for the meantime, this will be simply adjusted. Okay, so it's not rolling very smooth, same as the other one. If we have a look up the top, you can see that's the filler panel. Dead giveaway on this one. Okay, it's missing a screw, so we need to sort that out as well. If we have a look, this one here is an older style track. Okay, you can see it's been painted a few times. Two filler panels, just like the other one. However, we can tell this one here is the one that needs to be removed. Okay, so this one here will give us access inside, as you can not see. Okay, so we'll remove this panel and then we'll get started, show you guys how to adjust this one. First thing, we want to remove the filler panel just as we did before. Screws are already missing on this side. We'll take off this side here. Okay, this one is a flat head, so I'll just use a screwdriver. You can tell it's an old style because it has got a flathead screw in there. Not many people use flathead screws anymore, simply for convenience. Once that's removed, okay, you can see there how many times it's been painted. Right, guys, so once you open up your door, you can see here it's struggling to roll. This one here is a bit loose, okay, so we can see this one here is straight away the issue that we're having. So as we move the guide up and down, you can see it plays with the gap on the door. So if I was to knock this all the way back, if you just lift the door up, you'll take all the tension off it. That'll knock all the way, and then you can see that it'll create problems. So as we go with the adjustment, okay, see if we were to leave it all the way, the gap reverses. So what we want to do is play around with the gap so that we got it nice and level. Tighten this up a little bit so that it doesn't move out of place. The gap is completely closed, and now that latches perfectly. So there you have it, guys. That is how you adjust your sliding cavity doors. That's two different styles. If you guys have anything else you want to learn how to do in or around your house, put it in the comment section below and I'll be happy to show you guys how to do it. Like, comment and subscribe. Until next time, I'm Bill. Thanks for watching Billshowto.